Alrighty, we have another Sony Trinitron video, and this one is an absolute beauty. This is a Sony 27-inch model number KV-2665 from January 1985. May have misspoke. I believe it's a 26-inch, not 27. I picked this guy up yet once again from Craigslist free section. When I saw the pictures, condition of the thing, I couldn't say no. So let's just put it like that. It's still a heavy beast, but nothing compared to the 32-inch. This is going to be hopefully a little bit more of an in-depth video on this television, as we're going to take the back off of it and we're going to take a look at the internals and try to clean it up a little bit, but also to do a repair if we can. Now we're going to have to go back in time to the 80s for goodies like this. So, unfortunately, I don't have the remote for this television, and for whatever reason, the Sony remotes that I do have are not working with this thing, so I have to manually put in those channels and stuff. Good old school volume slider right on the front.
Just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Only one speaker, so it is not stereo sound. The reason I came up so close is one of the doors works, your standard picture tuning and things of that nature, but we have this nice little thing right here, HIT, and this little door is broken. What's behind here is a second RF or aux in, and a little button that's next to it that says HIT, and then when you hit that button it will switch tuners and come to this one here. So even all the way back then they were thinking about video game consoles and the hassle that they were to go around the back of the television to screw in the RF adapter for Nintendos and Ataris and televisions and things of that nature, like this guy right here. Actually, I can show you. I have a little adapter for it, but this end goes into the Intellivision, and then the other end would go into your little RF tuner thing. I don't have one, but it would be the little box that has a slider on it, and it says TV on top and whatever on the bottom. You can just cheat and get a little one of these guys, and then what you do is we just screw it right on there. You know, plug in our Intellivision and then hit our hit button, and then you'd have your setup. My Intellivision right now, unfortunately, needs some repairs, so I can't demonstrate that, but that's how it works. And also notice that it has the channel goes blank when you hit that. So we need to fix this door. If we take a look here, how this works is there's little pegs that are molded onto these guys that hold the door in place. As you can see, one of those is completely missing, and then the peg is broken off of this one. So our door kinda is supposed to be like this, and then goes up. I can kind of get it to stay because of the little notch on top. But what I want to try to do is get a metal rod to go through here. It is already for the peg. I was thinking about possibly drilling a small hole right into here for a metal rod and then epoxying that to the door. We'll have to see. But this television, believe it or not, is really, it looks really easy to come apart. Just a few Phillips head screws around the back and we should be, excuse me, inside. I have not had a chance to clean it up yet. I just kind of grabbed it right here and wanted to make sure it worked. Even though I said it did, but I wanted to check. There are a couple oopsies on this thing. One of them being a nice scratch in the paint right here. And that trend pretty much follows, well, that's just over on that side. And then on the side, you get a little bit of that, because this is faux wood. It's like particle board, and then it's got the laminate over it. But other than that, for a television from January of '85, it is in beautiful shape. And it adds, makes the collection a little bit more complete. Had to get rid of the other Trinitron. That thing was just too big and too heavy for the move, so she didn't come with. So that one had to. I wouldn't say no to that one. Then we got the other two, and then the little RCA. But let's unplug this guy, and then I'll drag it out, and then we'll take the back off and look inside there, because that other little tab looks like it disconnects from the inside. All right, let's do that then. All right, now that we have the TV out, we can take a better look at what we get around the back. And it is not a whole lot. So let's take a look. Here is our serial number and model number, our various information, and our manufacturer, 1985, and our single input of UHF, VHF. And then it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and we're in. So let's do that. All right, and with those screws out, we're in, and we can take a look at all of her 33 years of dusty glory. Oh yeah, but if dust is the only thing that's in here, I am not gonna complain, because yeah, at least it's not full of bugs and cockroaches, right? Always gotta be careful with old stuff. Let's take a peek inside here. This definitely has the feel of being a budget-oriented television. I see a whole lot of unpopulated up here, which kind of leads me to believe that there were some other features for this television, possibly stereo sound being one of them for, you know, nicer models. Overall, nothing really stands out to me. Here is our little dual tuner setup. This little white wire will be our little switch that tells it which one to use. I don't see an easy way. Ooh, look at that cap. There's a big fatty right there. And that resistor too, 20 watts, 220 ohms. that what that says? Yeah, look at that. That's a big one. Okay. Can we get to what we need to get to? It sure as hell doesn't look like it. That's what I was afraid of. You have to take the whole freaking thing apart. So we're gonna have to get a little destructive and let's see what we can do. Is that a little bodge? It looks like they had a little mistake they had to come up and fix. Am I gonna focus? Yeah, it looks like they had to solder on a, is that a capacitor? A disc capacitor? Okay, back to the front. I figured we would have a quick look at the back of the tube here itself, because it looks like we get to tune with trim pots red, green, and blue. Some more here. G drive, R drive, and B drive. You know what? I wonder if that means that we could steal like an RGB signal out of this thing, or get not that, but put an input, an RGB input in this. I have to look into that. Still a nice TV though, even though it appears to be budget oriented. Alright, let's look and see what we can do about fixing this little door. Okay, here is the plan. So, I have a couple of these little nylon anchors. We would have two little nails, and then this is for like tying down cables to walls and stuff like that. I've also discovered that cheap Dremel bit happens to fit absolutely perfectly in this guy, right through. So what I did is I took one of them and I busted the head off of it, and now it is the actual perfect length to fit. Bear with me, sorry. It fits perfectly flush for the most part. So the plan is cut this guy in half. Widen the holes so the little rod fits through. We're gonna have to narrow these guys down so I can wedge it in that hole and glue it in there. Let's see how that turns out. Alright, so this is the solution. Let's see if we can get some better lighting here. I have the metal rod from one of those bits glued into place. That is epoxy. And I have two of these little ends here, which we are going to first tack into place here and here with super glue. Make sure we get a good fit, and then if that is the case, we will epoxy it into place. Now, unfortunately, I didn't know this stuff was going to dry looking like somebody skeeted all over it. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I think I might paint this or something along the lines, but here's kind of the idea. And then I'll sit on the ends there, move them into place, and then we'll have a good hinge for that. So let's see what we can do. All right, we got it tacked into place on each end with some super glue. One tip that I can give you guys, always buy the liquid, never buy the gel. The gel has just an additive in it that makes it take longer to set. It's awful. Always get the liquid. The stuff dries and what does it say? I don't know, but we got it because it is great for plastic and metal and stuff along those lines. Good stuff. Buy the good stuff. Don't buy the cheap stuff. So we're gonna let this sit for a couple minutes just to be safe before we start cranking on it. And but by the looks of it, it's looking kind of good. So focus. We'll see. We'll give it a minute here. Okay, so our super glue has had some time to set. Let's see what happened. Very nice. I'm not quite happy that that didn't set completely straight. It's a little crooked, but I mean, no one's ever gonna see this TV again besides me, so functionality is what I'm after. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll head over to the desk on over here, and we'll mix up some more skeet here and permanently glue that into place. Skeet, 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 skeet. I got that all nice and goobered up in both places. And like I said, I think we'll tape this all up, get some black spray paint or something, just paint that so it looks a little better. So now, this takes, I think, like, I don't know, we're gonna give it overnight. But that's pretty much it. At least for that. All right, so it hasn't been quite a day, but it's been a few hours here. This is the nasty results, and over time I'll clean this up, and like I said, I'm going to probably paint all the inside here black. I'll tape this off and tape that off and paint all that up, or I'll do something to make that look a little better, but like I said, it's for me, so it doesn't matter. Functionality is what I want, and we got it. Sticks on there nice. It's not going anywhere now. And got a little bit on there. A little bit on there. Because of course, why not? She stays put. Alright, so that's the end of another Trinitron video. Alright guys, take care.